Hey guys, it's James here from NeuralNet Games, and today I'm bringing you my Overshield machine build. And this build utilizes Bastion, which gives us Overshield on every barricade, and it also utilizes something you've probably slept on, which is Aeon Safe. And within Aeon Safe gauntlets, you've got something called Sect of Vigor. I'll explain exactly how it all works later, but essentially you're going to have an Overshield a lot of the time, which is going to give you an advantage over your opponents. Which means even if you don't have perfect aim, you're like me, you play on Xbox, you're a part-time player, you're going to be able to get that KD above 1.0. I really love focusing on the build craft. It's what I'm good at, and so I utilize builds to give me an advantage, and I'm hoping I can share those with you. Alright, let's talk Aeon Safe gauntlets. The exotic that really makes this build tick, I mean, it's essentially based on it, so I guess that makes sense. Gain class ability energy and take reduced damage from combatants for a short time when an ally dies or when you resurrect an ally. So what this means is you're going to have your class ability so often, especially in non-competitive formats like Control, where your allies are just, getting iced all around you constantly. And a funny side effect of this is you're actually going to mitigate your really bad games. So when you have really bad games, you sometimes just get steamrolled, but you're actually going to have your barricade and you're going to have an overshield far more often when your allies are getting tromped on. And so it actually helps those games, helps you not, have a super bad KD in those steamroll games where you're on the wrong side of it. Okay, so that's basically what it is. I've got Red Death Reformed here. Red Death Reformed, I just love. It's probably my favorite PvP weapon at this point. It just has a great time to kill and it heals you. And combined with an overshield, it allows you to go from engagement to engagement pretty quickly, which is great. You may say to yourself, James, come on, how are you not using Vigilance Wing? Clearly, it synergizes with the build, right? When a nearby ally is killed, gain health regeneration and increased movement speed. Well, I'm not good enough with Vigilance Wing. I've given it a few tries and every time I can't get there. So using Red Death Reformed, I'd love to hear some comments around you using Vigilance Wing and how it's synergized with the build once you try this build, which you really should. The other weapon I'm using a lot is Controlling Vision. I love this thing so much. It's probably my favorite PvP weapon overall outside of Red Death. I guess that's why I made this build video with both these weapons. So Fragile Focus is amazing, right? Weapon gains bonus range until your shield is destroyed. And then High Ground is just sick in PvP. Jump up, shoot at people, and you get a bunch of extra damage. Attacking targets from higher ground immediately grants the maximum number of stacks. And this works in PvP too. Less than PvE, but still works well and will give you a massive advantage. And this sidearm is it's an absolute laser beam in close. Starting with helmet mods, I'm going to use solar targeting, improve target acquisition, accuracy, and aim down sight speeds for solar weapons. I just put as many of those on as I possibly can. For gauntlets, I use bolstering detonation, as many as I can possibly get on there. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a grenade. And then for the chest, I'm using unflinching solar aim. And this reduces flinching from incoming fire while aiming a solar weapon because I'm using Red Death Reformed. And then on the boots, this one sometimes comes into play, not a lot, right? When your allies super things of that nature, you get a solar weapon surge. Solar weapons gain a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. And then on my class item, I've got Distribution, reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near targets. I've got that in twice. And then in once I've got Bomber, reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. And then stats, I think you should focus on them in this order. Of course, Resilience always. Next, in this build, I would get Recovery because you're often peeking out behind your shield or behind your barricade, and things of that nature. And I think just the play style means that people are going to try and push you. You're going to pop a barricade, get an overshield, and then you're going to be able to hide and recover and things of that nature. The last would be mobility. Again, You may be peeking out a lot past your barricade. You should be peeking out a lot past your barricade, and so mobility is going to help you do that. We're going to be using the Sentinel Titan subclass, and for aspects, we're going to be using Bastion and Offensive Bulwark. So Bastion is cast your super to grant overshield to nearby allies. Casting your barricade grants overshield to yourself and nearby allies and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the overshield of allies bunkering behind it and extend their overshield duration. Offensive Bulwark is while you have an overshield or are inside Word of Dawn, your grenade charges significantly faster, which is 200% in PvP. You have increased melee range and damage, which is 20% increase in PvP. And melee final blows restore a small portion of your overshield and extend its duration, which is really nice because you're going to have an overshield a lot. So when you're meleeing in close, sometimes you can extend it. That gives you the option to be, in a better spot for your next engagement. Then you also gain an additional shield throw while in Sentinel Shield. This is great because sometimes you miss with your first shield throw, and before you get murked, you can throw another one quickly and kill the person. For grenades, I'm going to use Magnetic Grenade. I kind of suck with grenades. Dealer's choice here. You can use whatever makes the most sense for you, and you may change a fragment or two if you want to use Vortex or Axion or whatever it is. Shield throw is something else I like. I like to bank things. I like pool. And then strafe lift. Of course, the faster you can move in PvP, the better. I wouldn't use anything else other than this. And then I also use Towering Barricade. And you may say, James, there's a lower cooldown on Rally Barricade. Why use Towering Barricade? I just think Towering Barricade is so much better when you get pushed. It works better in so many different circumstances. I don't think the cooldown difference overcomes that. For fragments, I'm using Echo of Vigilance. Defeating a target while your shields are depleted grants you a temporary void overshield. And then I'm also using Echo of Leeching. Melee final blows start health regeneration for you and nearby allies. Next, I'm using Echo of Persistence. Void buffs applied to you, Invisibility, Overshield, and Devour have increased duration. Of course, we need that. We're always going to have an Overshield, and we want it to last longer so that we don't always have to pop our barricade at a perfect time. And I'll talk about this in play patterns, but you can pop a barricade earlier. And then Echo of Dilation. While crouched, you sneak faster and gain enhanced radar resolution. I mean, it's PvP. If you know where people are coming from, you're going to be in a lot better spot. I do think this is kind of funny, though, because you have to crouch. So just think about this scenario. You kill somebody. You hit them with melee. You're pretty near them. You start crouching and uncrouching to look at your radar. Well, their perception may be a little bit different when you're just trying to figure out what's going on. I think about that a lot. I'm not a teabagger, really. So just, be aware of that when you use this fragment. Okay, that's it for fragments. There's a few different ways you can play this build. I think generally the safest way if you're trying to get your KD above 1.0 is to stay near your friends and team shoot. You're going to be very useful to them by healing them, especially because you're going to use Red Death Reformed. And you're also going to have barricades up that give everybody overshields. And then when you're fighting, you can pop back in behind your barricade and replenish your overshield. It also helps a lot with your Aeon Safe Gauntlets because your friends are going to be dying all around you. And you're going to get that class ability back a lot more often than if you kind of go lone wolf and try and flank and things of that nature. For me, it's tough. I am a natural flanking machine. But try and stay with your friends. You don't have to have a perfect barricade placement either. I often just slam a barricade down. Like, really, you want to watch your radar and go, okay, I think I'm going to get into an engagement fairly quickly. But because we have some things that increase duration of overshield, it lasts a decent amount. So don't try and be perfect. And also sometimes I'll just throw my barricade down and then I will just keep running. Like if I feel like I need to push and I'm in a corridor or something like that, barricade and continue to push, be aggressive if you have to. The other way you can play your barricades is to always kind of stay back. You may want to run a different primary than what I'm running then. You may want to run a scout or something so that when you're actually at really long range, you can utilize that and stay behind your barricade more. Either option is mostly viable. And so, yeah, those are really some tips I have for you around play patterns. This build's really simple to use. It's the reason I love it, and it's the reason why I use it a lot. Sometimes I work 10, 12 hours in a day and then I'm playing at night, and I want something that's simple that I don't have to string together perfect ability chain combos and things of that nature. I just want to go and shoot things, and when I shoot things, have a barrier. I hope this video was helpful for you. I'm really trying to approach this from an angle of a part-time player in Destiny, trying to understand all of the systems and just trying to be good, especially at PvP, which can be intimidating. I will also be putting out PvE builds, covering news, things of that nature. If you think that's going to be interesting to you and this was helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Take care. Bye.